Welcome to the awesome. I'm Big Roy, and this is the Strikeforce Message Launch Podcast. Here's my co-host, Superger84.
Thank you very much, Big Roy. What's shaking this week, my man?
Not much. How are you doing, sir? I know a certain something's keeping you busy going on in the world.
Yeah, I think it's keeping everyone busy, to be honest. It's going to be a wild year, dude. It really is. For everyone, obviously. But just, even if everything recovers tomorrow and, everyone's estimates about, the thing is bigger than it ever will be,
Yep.
The amount of things that it's undone in the last month, I think most of this sort of year, financially, for a lot of countries, is going to be real bad, man. So
Yeah, it's messed up.
That's it. So we're going to be shilling extra hard today when we're asking for patrons, man. That's it. Shoot Daddy needs some help. I live in Dubai. It's too expensive. All right, boys and girls. This is indeed the Strikeforce Masters Launch Podcast. Going forward, just calling it the Masters Launch Podcast. And this is for people who are currently playing the Marvel Strike Force game, available on iOS and Google Play. Now, we try and get this out every single week, and we're able to do so because of the support of a wonderful community, which is, of course, you guys. Unless, of course, this is your first time today, in which case, hey, buddy, how you doing? Now, if you'd like to have your questions answered at the end of each show live on air, make sure you head on over to our Discord channel, Strikeforce Masters and Launch. If you have any troubles finding it, make sure you message me directly at Chewburger84. I had a couple of requests recently, Roy, for people who don't Discord to perhaps email some questions through. So I'll probably hand out an email for that. You know what? Screw it. Let's just say chewburger84@gmail.com. Right. I look forward to your dick pics. I don't look forward to it, but let's face it, it's going to happen. All right. Now, the reason we're able to put the time aside every week with increasingly busy lives, Roy, is that we have some absolutely rock star, awesome people who help us stay afloat with this thing to make sure we've got the latest gear, make sure that we don't sound too terrible. I spent most of yesterday redoing my kit because my boom arm broke the other day as I was about to stream. Good times. Oh, no. So that's held together in very MacGyver fashion. So ladies and gents, head on over to our Patreon channel if you'd like to support the show. You can do so for as little as $1 a month. And we have packages where basically we have Q&A sessions. Parker and I are working on a video right now, which is something a little bit different, which we're going to start doing some previews for our Patreon people very soon. And we're trying to make that a lot more fun. So if you want to be part of the crew, make sure you sign up at www.patreon.com/SFMOL. And we have had 3 new people this week, Roy, do exactly that. We have a new supporter in Matches Malone. Thank you very much for your support, buddy. From Halpin, who is our new journeyman, and Jeff M., who is our new apprentice. For Halpin and Jeff, guys, I've reached out to you on Patreon because I don't have your Discord names, but we'd always love to chat with you guys. Now, we also do our shout-outs for our Masters and our Journeymen every single week. They're our top-tier supporters, so we got to give them a little bit of love back, Roy. So to Sandella, Maseo, Bart, Liquid, Dragus, Assassin, Judas, Lord Keen, Moon, Folpsy Schmolpsy, Kane, Spark, Zulu, Jackie, Jay Shriver, and Benicus, you are the masters, and thank you very much for your support. And to our journeymen, Andrew M, X23, Beer God, Mookie, Dawkins, Justin Beard, Mikey H, Neil Wiley, Paul Puck, Irish Avenger, Scooter Yule, Chilbo, Cravino, Tick, Dun and Dun, Pathfinder, Release, Lemon Russ, and Big Spartan 34. Thank you so much to all of you. If there's anyone that thinks they should be in one of those categories, by the way, I had a new Excel spreadsheet printout from Patreon today, and this is apparently the updated list that cut a few people who have left us over the last couple of months. And I just want to make sure that all the new people definitely got added manually by me today. Now, Roy, it would not be a game, it would not be a podcast about this particular game, which is known for whales and krakens, but we have to support the free-to-play. So how can free-to-play people support us absolutely free of charge?
Yes, you can leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcast. We've got a new one this week, DJ Tony TTTT, the best MSF podcast. I usually always listen on YouTube, but decided to switch to Apple Podcasts since no YouTube Premium anymore, real-life money issues, and all the ads the podcast... I guess without all the ads, the podcast is way better that way, and I saw the writer review section and remembered you always ask for that if you can't get money. So your every episode advertising, that worked on me. Keep up the great work. I bet somehow Chewie somehow pulls a 6 red star out of the DD3 orb with all 7 red stars, lol.
Well, we got some good news now.
Yes, we do.
All right, so I have some good news for you, my review writing friend. So we are about to move the Strikeforce Masters Launch podcast away from the Alternate Reality main channel And as of this episode, folks, if you are a YouTube listener, we are starting a brand new one, which is A&R Podcast. So all of our podcasts are going to be there. We want to separate that out because some of our shows aren't necessarily safe for work, and we don't want to risk the monetization issues. So while this is always going to be family friendly, just bear in mind that when you go to A&R Podcast, there are going to be some more adult themed pods where we do talk about a lot of what's happening out there in the world. So A&R Podcast on YouTube, that will be live at the time of the show. So if you want to listen to on YouTube next week instead, that's fine. And he mentioned ads, Roy. So what we noticed is YouTube was banging in from the auto upload from Podbean when it worked properly, which, oh my God, issues there. It was throwing in ads every 10 minutes.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, whoa. I was like, maybe 20, sure, but even that. So the good news is with a new channel, it's not monetized. So no ads for a long time, folks. So head on over to A&R Podcast, and we're going to try and tie together a membership for all the A&R podcasts as well. So if that's something that interests you, you want a few extra special benefits through all of our shows through one little membership through the site, that's something we're going to hopefully to have up and running by the end of April. So stay tuned. Shill complete.
Oh, excuse me.
Are you choking on our shills?
I'm dying.
How dare
I guess I'm allergic to shilling.
I don't know, man. With your second whale account that you hide from people, I'm surprised.
It's a secret. It's a secret iOS account.
Oh,
I think Apple found out that I didn't actually have one and got pissed because last week's episode was messed up on Apple Podcasts for some reason. So I had to re-render it, and I had a little extra dead time on the end, and then did it as a full bitrate, 320K instead of variable bitrate, and then thankfully I think it works now. So I mean, I didn't do anything different than I normally do, so I don't know what was going on, but hopefully it won't happen again.
Nah, should be fine, mate. Should be fine. Yeah. All right, let's move into the show. Starting off with one of the shortest segments, but the longest intros. So we're bringing back something, and I actually really apologize to some people because I got a reminder. We used to do this, Roy, and I completely forgot. It's been in the notes, but because there's been so much to talk about, it was always off the screen. So obviously there's going to be a lot of discussions and even videos about Red Star Orbs coming up soon, folks. And with Red Star Orbs and a lot of things about Marvel Strike Force, we need to remember that they are indeed gambling mechanics. So if you have kids, please don't keep them away from games like this. And if you do have them playing it, make sure that you open the orbs for them. Or try and do the orb openings where you open 10 at a time. I've noticed, Roy, that it doesn't do as many of the big flashing lights, so you don't sort of get hooked that way. Mm-hmm. And if you are someone who is prone to gambling addiction, or if you feel like you are trapped in games like this, folks, make sure you reach out for some of the resources out there from different countries in regards to gambling addiction where you can get help. Or look, worst case scenario, you're always welcome to drop me a line, just because we've talked to a few people through it as well. All that being said, Roy, let's move into Red Star Watch. Did you pull on a thing this week?
Well, I was all ready to open some orbs, because I have 11 now, and then I just got my Elite 5 because I finished Node 4 in Dark Dimension 3. But they did this dumb thing where extra bonus chances for Loki, Ghost Rider, and Vision. So therefore I will not be opening them until that is over, but they'll probably just go straight into Red Skull bonus. So I guess I'll wait until then and open for that. I mean, I'm due for another 7 Red Stars, so I mean, we'll see how that goes.
Are you though? Are you really?
It's been fun.
You're the one that's due for a Red Star.
It's been so long. I mean,
my God. See, it's greed of people like you that have kept me away from Red Stars, unfortunately.
See, I mess with you so much because you get so mad, even though your 2 top guys with 6 Red Stars are much better than my 7 Red Star guys. So that's why I mess with you so much. All an act for
entertainment. Who knows?
Is it though?
Who knows which way it goes? Who knows indeed. Keep them guessing. All right, let's get into the news of this week, folks, because there is a lot of it. And because there is a lot, and some of these topics are going to be deep dives, there'll be no main topic today. But of course, we'll be talking about the Asgardians becoming farmable, villains campaigns coming in, the new game modes, and some delays happening as well. Let's start off with one of the more controversial decisions of the week. So Foxnext has spent the last month talking about how they're hearing us. They want to make sure that obviously new players are able to, unlock things faster. They're able to catch up a little bit. And then they went and put little old Sif in the War Store.
Yes.
I could not think of a worse time to do that, to be honest, only because of the fact that it's already a competitive currency. But Graviton was only like, what, 6-ish weeks ago he was put in there?
Yep.
And everyone's farming the bejesus out of that for DD3. And now you got to make a choice. Do you want Graviton, who's a really good character? Do you want Sif, who is not the greatest character? She's fine, but you need her for Black Bolt.
Right.
Or do you want to barrel your way through DD3? Like, being forced to make that decision in a game mode that is so interesting at the moment, let's put it that way, is a bold choice. What do you think about this?
That's a nice way of putting it. Well, I figured in my situation, it's best just to stay the course of what I was doing. Is just still working on guys for DD3. So once I get through that, I'll get like 3-4 more at T14 after the first clear, plus all the red star stuff and everything. So, I mean, they'll be decent upgrades. Or I could just put all that on hold for like a month or two and maybe get a 5 yellow and 3 red Black Bolt. Is he going to have as big of an impact on my game than 3 or 4 more T14 characters? No, I don't think so.
How many reds have you got there at the moment?
What do you mean?
Like, how many reds do you have on Black Bolt when you unlock
Oh,
it?
yeah, he's only 3 reds, so I mean...
See, 5 yellow and 3 reds are still pretty decent for him, man. And you'll have enough currency by that stage as well to probably get on to 5. And if you've saved your other gold currency from a little while ago, you might even be able to get into 6. So, I mean, it's possible.
Yeah, I could, but I mean, there's no way I was going to get it for this run if he comes back in April, which I'm pretty sure he is, so I'm not going to make that anyways. So I'm still going to get what I need out of the War Store. If I have extra, then I'll get Sif when I can, but I'm not going to drop everything and go for her because it's going to be another probably 2-3 months before the Black Bolt event comes back. So nothing's changing for me.
Yeah, fair play. I think I'm actually going to go in the other direction. So I've been looking at obviously dumping all those resources into that. And the reality is, in many ways, like there'll be certain ones that I'll still buy every time I see them. Like for characters that I know I'm going to need an excessive amount. But for the rest of it, I think I'm actually going to shift to more of a passive. I'm certainly not going to be coring for store refreshers out of supplies anymore. And really just winding back on gold spend as well. Because it's been a little while since we've had a character like a Black Bolt. Who's basically like a meta-defining in every game mode. And we've had a lot of war-specific tunes launched recently. There's another 2 coming soon with Red Skull and Ironheart. Right. That something tells me I want to have a few cores and a lot of currency up my sleeve in preparation for something. Perhaps an entire new team, for example. Yeah, so because of all of that, I have a feeling that I'm going to actually pivot a little bit because now with the changes to DD3 and the end rewards, there's no real reason for me to rush.
Yeah. Well, it's not like you can really rush that much unless you're dropping tens of thousands of cores. So.
Oh, of course. I mean, like as in rushing a team to be ready. So the second that I finish Node 4, I'm good to go for global. Do you know what I mean? Like I don't really mind at the moment because what it comes down to is enjoyment. Like, you know, we had a comment on YouTube again this week. It's just, you know, like you guys are really negative this week. And they're right. It's because we haven't really enjoyed the game for a little while. And that's what I want to do. And for me, DD3 is not a fun game mode. It's basically... you log in, you make Phoenix go boom boom, and then you log off. Right? That's basically the way that day looks. And that's not appealing to me. Like there's no real strategy crafting about it. That was the disappointing thing about this versus DD2 is that you didn't have the fun. It was like, oh, what if I did this with this? And you know, then finding like Ronan was an exceptional character when paired with Minerva. That sort of thing was really fun. With this, it's basically, all right, what can not die before it goes boom? Like that's the whole strategy right now. So,
well, for me, it's been the exact opposite. I've been having a lot of fun because just trying to figure out, like, okay, what do I have to do so I can sneak in this special or even an ult from Dark Phoenix? It actually reminds me a lot of the old school EverQuest raids where you had to do like the craziest stuff just to get it down, where they had to like have complete heals going off every few seconds, like in a rotation. So it's like really extreme difficulty. So it really tests you, your skill and planning and how you can get it if you want to get past it anytime soon. So I'm really liking that, the challenge part of it, just trying to get past an overwhelming difficult thing.
I guess that's the agree to disagree. So, I mean, I love games where there's like a high difficulty scaling. I think it's why I've been enjoying Contest of Champions so much because, like, you can go into a game mode and it's like, bro, look at the recommendation of this team. You are not supposed to be here. And you're like, oh, really, fool? Watch me. Right? And you can take an under-geared team and just with pure skill and evading and dodging and using abilities at the right time, like you said with EverQuest, like using heals right at the right moment. In that sort of difficulty scaling, I love it. And I miss that about like other video games, which is why I've been peeling away from mobile more and more recently. But with this, man, it's just designed to basically be what's the RNG going to be for you. So, yeah, look, I'm glad that you're finding some enjoyment out of it, man. But for me, I'm pivoting back to what I enjoy the most. And that is basically preparing my roster in ways that I think is going to matter the most when it comes to clearing raids going forward and trying to stay reasonably competitive in Arena. Not crazy, but if I can stay top 20, I'll be happy.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's my viewpoint, too. It's like, if I can get more of my raid guys to T14 by clearing this, it's going to help me more than getting just a 5 yellow, 3 red Black Bolt. Because just one character versus 3 or 4 is going to help me more.
Understood. So, with that in mind, obviously that means that if you're going to have any chance of going after a Black Bolt in the near future, you're going to need yourself a Hela. And look, even if you're not going after Black Bolt, ladies and gents, Hela is easily one of the best top 3 characters in this game. I've been saying it forever. And my mind has not changed. So she's going to be going into the Villains campaign, Roy.
Yes.
Yep, which is good, but we're probably not going to see her in there until around the end of March, is what they were saying in the Strike Time video the other day. Not my Strike Time, which was the rap that you guys should definitely go and check out and then downvote because it was terrible. I'm talking about Strike Time, a little old show that Fox Next puts out from time to time.
Right. Now, originally, like way back in the blog post, they're saying Heroes is coming out, and then the next week Villains will be coming out. So
yeah,
that was such a lie.
Yeah, and look, there's a lot happening at the moment as well that I'm surprised that we haven't already seen delays given the Scopely factor. Because you'd have to think that things like layoffs would have to happen to some of the poor guys because of overlap. Do you know what I mean? Like, Scopely's already going to have devs. They're already going to have plenty of sales and marketing guys. They're not going to need every employee from Fox Next. So, I hope it's not the case because these guys, they're the real heroes, those middle guys that work on the game, love the game, design it with passion and love. But ultimately, when mergers happen, this is what happens. So I'm actually surprised we haven't seen delays already. I'm assuming it's because so much of this was already in the pipeline. And then, man, everything happening with the economy and obviously people not being able to go into work because of, COVID-19, all this sort of stuff, I think there's so many game delays that are going to happen in the next 12 months. And some of them may be deliberately, Roy. Yep. You look at James Bond just got delayed because they're like, well, no one's going to the movies. I'm not releasing that now.
Right.
Yeah, so, in saying that, they have announced several delays for a couple of things very shortly, which we'll talk about. So, we went through the Villains requirements last week. I have no doubt she'll be a little bit more challenging to get, because to get to that point, you have to have Villain Mystic, don't you?
Yeah, that's in the middle, the Mystics.
See, that's rough for a lot of new kids, man, because so many of those good Villain Mystics are, like, high-end. Like, you had to have either been playing for a while or, bought with things like Hela like I did.
Well, aren't they already saying the requirements, or not requirement, but the suggested is, like, 75, tier 12 or 13, and all that stuff, so, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's definitely, it's wonderful for players like us at a global launch, but I think, the more we've been talking, from the strike and all that sort of thing over the last couple of months, we're really going to be pushing more stuff for the newer guys, man, because they're the future of this game. As people burn out, they're the ones that will keep, alliances alive. So I really hope they rethink some of these strategies, like, putting tunes into War Store that are essential for legendaries, etc. And we'll just have to wait and see. Because that's 2 now, right? Oh, I guess you don't need Carnage now. Yeah. Given some of the other Spider-Verse, yeah. But that's a rough one.
Yes, sir.
All right. Now, they seem to have a real thing for this PvP game mode, the one-on-one challenge your buddies type thing. And they're saying it's going to be coming in the next 1 to 2 patches. But if I remember correctly, they were saying that while it might be coming to the game, Roy, we probably won't see the actual competitive side of things until towards the end of the year, right?
Yeah, there won't be any rewards for who knows how long, but it'll still be fun for a little bit just to do the fights.
A bit of that EP and flexing.
Yes, Mr. Ridiculous number of 7 red stars himself, Reminix, says he wants to take Mion, he wants to go one-on-one with the Awesome One, so hopefully I can block all of his 7 red stars out of the match. Hopefully they give us enough blocks.
Pretty good. Yeah, he has a lot of 6 reds as well, just quietly. Like when the scaling comes up, his roster is going to be stupid, mate.
Yeah.
Yep, so that'll be interesting for sure. You must be is this the thing you're most excited about this year? A one-on-one PvP mode?
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. I'll be able to fight people on stream, so that'll be another fun thing I can do on there. Take on all comers. So, I mean, and hey, maybe they'll do tournaments at some point with different prizes, so who knows? I mean, there's possibility. I don't know if they'll ever do anything, but, there's possibility.
Yeah, it definitely feels like they're going sort of a EA Galaxy of Heroes kind of route of trying to set up like a grand arena type thing for sure, which in principle I do like, but I mean, you see what kind of rewards they lock behind these things, and it just basically means we're going to get more of the same. Krakens win everything, everyone else falls down a little bit. So if there's things where like everyone has their stats like evened out and you don't have like, the fact that you have all of that as an advantage, I think that would be perfection. If you leveled the playing field so you had to use skill and you couldn't buy the win, I would support the crap out of that and I would be very, very excited about it. Yes. At the moment, not so much.
Yeah, that won't make the money though, so they aren't going to do that.
Oh, of course they won't. And you watch it, they'll be like grand arenas type thing where like you got to go as far through like with one team as you can, but they'll sell heals or some sort of a joke. There'll be some pay to win angle for sure, but I think it's going to be the roster. Yes. Hopefully the red star flattening out fixes a little bit of that. That'd be nice if they had that beforehand, but we'll see.
Yep.
Now, speaking of the Red Star rework, what are we now, like 12.0? No, 3.0.
Yes.
Red Star rework 3.0, folks. They're saying it's not finalized yet, so we still don't have any announcements other than the potential flattening of the curve. And remember those numbers we talked about a few weeks ago, folks. They're not 100% locked in as yet. Obviously, they're still discussing whether that is the right way to do it. But we still don't have any word on how the new economy is going to work. That's the one that needs your Wakandans for some reason. And they're saying that it's still on track at this stage for end of April. Could be delayed, but could be as early as mid-April. So no commitments there, but that's something we're watching closely.
Yep.
Yeah. What are you hoping for with this economy? Like, do you think the Wakandan event is going to be enough?
Probably not. Knowing them, they'll not make the rewards that good. I think a lot of it will hinge on, are they going to make it 7 levels and you can only do the first 3, or how are they going to do it? Hopefully they make it where they give you like 7 the first time, then they can give 3 after or something like that in future runs, and then they need to have it come back on a regular basis, like every month, not just whenever.
Yeah, I think the frequency is going to depend on how much they're giving us, right? Because, I mean, what do you think the minimum right now is acceptable? Like, should you be able to do this event at its top tier? And what should you be able to do? Should you be able to get one whole new character from 0 to 7? I think so. I don't think it's going to happen.
Yeah, there's no way they'll do that. Maybe to 6.
I know, but there's so many characters now, man. And more importantly than that, if they do this Red Star scaling, the 7s don't really matter as much as they used to. It's really about the 5s and the 6s now.
Right.
So, yeah, man, I think it's a mistake if they don't sort of lean into this now. Like, they've got so many bottlenecks in the game. We've been saying this for a while. Lean into it, man. I reckon open it up. Give us... If you told every new player that once a month they could take a character, their favorite character of their choice, to maximum, man, that's a way to get hyped. Some people are going to do, like the dude in Air Alliance, just like, I'm going to do Nebula. Like, okay, buddy. You just run around, put a helmet on before you go out there.
Nice. I'm predicting at most we'll get enough for like the 3 runs on the last one. You'll get enough to take 1 to 5, and then you'll get 3 of the gold promo credits. So a little bit over half of the way to a 6. That's what I'm predicting at most. That's what we'll get. So you'll end up getting like 100 silver promotion credits and 1 gold promo credit for each clear of the last one.
For each one. I mean, that's not too bad. I've got a bad feeling we're not going to see gold in that economy. I think they might tie that into like a calendar or something, because you got to log in every day to get that.
Yeah.
I'm not 100% against it, because I mean, logging in doesn't take that much energy. But
right.
Yeah, man. I think if they're doing at least that, that's something. Like, if you can take someone to almost 6 every month, oh, God, it's a low bar, but sure.
It's a much higher bar than what we have now, though, unfortunately.
I know, but I guess that's what we've been trying to sort of get people's perceptions to change during the strike, is that just because it's in comparison to the way things are now, that doesn't make some of the proposed changes good. It makes them better, and we should obviously applaud Fox Next when they implement some of those changes if they do.
Right.
And we should encourage them to keep making those steps. Because at the end of the day, folks, it's your money, it's your time. If you want to play this game and, they want to lean into that, great. If they don't, also great for us.
Yes.
So. All right, so here's hoping that comes sooner rather than later. Now, the raid difficulty selector will not be out until after the Red Star rebalance. They're basically saying they need to get that right first, and then obviously once they've got that, then of course they can scale the absolute bejesus out of the hard modes of that, I'm assuming. What do you think?
Yes, and they're still testing it out in-game. Because R1 today has been harder than normal. You can just tell when you're getting wrecked on the first few nodes. Like, what is this crap? So yeah, they're clearly either by design or by user error, and by the user I mean them. It's like something in there is messing up whenever it's launched at some points, where it's making it harder for some way. So I don't know.
I am excited about it, though, for a lot of people, because I think it's going to bridge that gap between Ultima 6 and Ultima 7. And I really hope that means a lot of people can get a taste of that without, that taste being anus. Do you know what I mean? Not just going from dominating 6 and being able to, not even scratch 30%.
Right.
I think that transition being cleaner is going to make life a lot better for a lot of people. And they did say in the video this week that the current Ultima 7 is definitely harder than what they're going to be doing for the scaling of the easy mode.
Yep.
My argument will be there is no reason to make what we have now not the hard one.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It is quite ridiculous.
I wonder how many difficulty levels we'll see, whether it's going to be 2 or 3.
I think there was some screenshot where we had seen it. I think it was 3 or 4. But they're probably still testing different ones. How many
He's
they're going to
hoping.
do. And will the extra rewards be worth it? That'll be the real question.
It's always the way. Yeah, because there's always that balance too. The thing they always tend to get wrong when they do this is sometimes they bump the rewards up. In many cases they don't. They remove things and then they have to beg them to put it back in, like with Blue Gear this time. But usually it's the raid points.
Yeah.
Usually the raid points they get wrong and you go, dude, it's way better for me to 100% the one below it every day rather than get 25% of the other one. That's crazy.
Right. I mean, if they don't bump up the rewards enough, it'd almost be better to do the easier, even if you can do them mostly on auto, just because you don't have to deal with that crap every day if you're not getting much more for doing the harder modes.
Yeah, and I just hope that it scales in a way, and I don't think it will, because obviously they scale to people who are willing to core on revives to get the win. But it would be amazing if they tuned the hard mode difficulty to what's realistic in the game right now. Do you know what I mean? So everything's attuned to, let's say, 6 red stars or something, right?
Yeah.
And they're not just inflating it by insane metrics. And maybe do some fun modifiers. Do you know what I mean? Maybe you'll go into a node. It's not necessarily that things are attacking harder all the time or they've got crazy health. But what if it was Asgardians always do guaranteed crits on this mode? And you're like, oh God. You know what I mean? I'd love to see modifiers like that. So you had to actually pivot your raid teams. I know the economy's not in a space right now where being able to run multiple raid teams is viable, but I love the idea of that. Having to go, oh man, I need counters for a particular raid node. Right. I like the idea of it, but we need the economy to follow it.
Right.
Yeah. So I don't think that's going to be in there somehow.
We
will see. Now, the Valiant Orb we discussed last week for apparently no reason.
Yes.
So, the Valiant Orb, for those people that have been playing along at home, what it was the reward that you get when you complete Ultimus 7. Now, the idea was from a short list of characters, about 50...
DD3, what? You said Ultimus 7.
Oh, no,
you got Ultimus 7 on the brain. I wish we got a Valiant Orb for completing Ultimus 7. That'd be awesome. I'd take that.
So yeah, DD3. When you finish DD3, it was giving you the Valiant Orb, which means that you got to choose a character No, sorry, you don't. It was basically a random roll. It's changed so many times now. Yes. This is the third. The original one was data mine, was you get to pick a character. Then it was basically now you get a Valiant Orb, which means that you're going to get one of those randomly at 7 red stars, half of which weren't great. And now it's basically we're going to give you enough currency to take one character up to level 7 red stars.
Yes.
The downside, I suppose, being that you need to have someone at 6 to be able to do so. The plus side being, I suppose, you do get to use that currency on any upgrade in the game, whether it's a 5 to a 6 or a 6 to a 7 of your choosing, Roy.
Yes, in theory, and at first glance, it's a very good thing, but there are several problems with it. Number one, there's no way to possibly take anyone to 7 right now because it doesn't even work in the store. You never see an upgrade to 7. Number two, we don't know how much it costs because people have asked support. Some people have gotten, so they said it's 10 gold promo credits. Another person got to answer that it's 50 gold promo credits, so we don't know how many it's going to be. But if they just give you 50 gold promo credits, especially after they flatten out the curve, if they do it like they were going to do, it'll be better to take 10 characters to 6 instead of 1 to 7.
Absolutely. And if that doesn't show you that the economy is too pivoted, that you can get 10 to 6 as to 1 to 7, then I don't know what does. But yeah, I think you're probably right. So, yeah, and I think that's awesome if it does indeed go that way with the scaling, for sure.
Yeah, so we'll have to see. I mean, I don't trust them to... I mean, if they can't even make it work in the store after all this time to have them show up, so it's like, how can you not fix that? How did that not work out of the box?
Now, it's been a long time since I've said this, Roy, but I am going to say it again because I think enough time has passed. That store does not need to exist. It 100% does not need to exist. What should happen is someone that knows how to design a video game, instead of having to design a whole extra store because you don't know how to change the base code, just goes in from the roster. You should be able to go to a character and just basically have an option to, do you want to go up a yellow star? Do you want to go up a red star? Here is the currency. They've done it with gear. They've done it with gold stars. Why can't we do it with red stars? But that store does not need to be there.
But Chew, there's no RNG in that. And we all love RNG. There has to be the RNG so of like, silly. Will my characters show up that I want to upgrade?
Mate, it's like getting a gift voucher for your favorite store, and then basically you have to go to that store every day to hope that they decided to open that day. Do you know what I mean? It's so dumb. Yes. It does not need to be there. This is one of the worst quality of life issues I've seen put into a video game, and it literally looks like, mate, like the only thing I could think of here is they put this in, assuming that like Krakens are going to go, well, got an upgrade. I'm going to keep refreshing the crap out of this store until I get him.
Yep.
There can't be that many people doing this because there's no gold currency to do that now. So how are they making money out of that store? Answer is they're not. It's just designed to slow down progression. Or, as my gut tells me, which is where I was winding up to here, they didn't know how to code it in because the people that used to know how to do that left a long time ago. Yeah, man, it's weird. That store does not need to be there.
Yep.
Hashtag remove red supplies. All right. Now, Ironheart was a character that we spoke about a little bit last week, Roy, and her addition to the Power Armor team. And it felt like she was unbelievably imminent because they reworked the speed of War Machine, which makes that team a little bit janky in War right now for Power Armor. And now they've basically said that Ironheart is going to be pushed significantly back.
Yes. So your Power Armor team is broken for the next couple months. And not good broken.
Broken, but RNG in a lot of situations does put you into a bit of a hole more often than it should.
Yeah.
That is for sure. Yeah. It's interesting, bro. It's interesting. I mean, all that effort to change the actual coding, like it must have been imminent. I mean, she's in the game coded now. I have a feeling this was because, they realized that on paper, they were like, yeah, man, we're going to be all about that cadence, son. And they're like, oh, crap, we're going to release 4 characters in a month. Wind it back. It's the only thing I can think of. They needed the appearance that they weren't going to be just charging people like wounded bulls while, people have been saying, hey, how about those changes from the strike, eh? Yeah, so look, I think from character release cadence to give people a break, especially those people that do spend all the time, this is definitely a good thing. But for free-to-play players who have built up that Power Armor team over time, it kind of sucks with a delay.
Yep.
Yeah, especially because they're forcing you to do it. It's like, well, we need to build this team for Ironheart now. Vision can eat it.
Well, even more so, she's going to be Blitz, most likely. I think there was a data mine thing, so, I mean, she's not going to be as high as your Vision, so is she going to be good enough at 2, 3, or 4 stars than Vision was?
It's a good question. And, I mean, I'd probably say no out of the gate. I mean, this is a big issue with the way they release characters, though, Roy, is that, you know, even if you do get real lucky on yellows, if you get unlucky on reds currently, right, even with rescaling, if you don't get 2 red stars, 3 red stars minimum, they're useless. They're absolutely useless in almost everything, unless there are I go first to make all the things happen and die. If those characters do fine, but everyone else, yeah, man.
Or other ones where their abilities aren't influenced anyway by red stars, like Loki, kind of.
Yeah, exactly. Or anyone that has summons these days, apparently.
Yes.
Except for a very small handful of people like Mr. Sinister.
Yes.
So, yeah, that's the rework that needs to happen for me, man. Where's the Summoners patch? That's what I want to see.
Yes.
I want to see Kingpin relevant. I want to see Yondu relevant. I want to see Fury's boys get a bit of a comeback.
Yes.
I think that...
Preach,
no, actually,
brother!
No, change your mind. Yeah, and then like obviously like Ravagers and that. It seems like a natural time to rework them as well when you're doing all those kind of summons. I'll be interested to see how Red Skull summons look and feel.
Oh, speaking of Ravagers, I heard Stitcher is meta. Where I think I heard that somewhere. I don't know.
Oh my god. This is the new Hand Archer. Like, this is everything in video games becomes a meme. Like, when we first started playing, Ronan was the meme. Ronan was, like, the worst character in the game at one stage, because in beta, he was so overtuned, it was crazy, so they nerfed him to oblivion. Who else was in that? Kree Royal Guard was apparently, like, OPAF in
And
beta.
Electra also was allegedly good back then, too.
Wow. When's her time to shine?
Yeah.
When's the hand rework, man? Because what are they? Last man standing outside of Ravagers, right?
Yep.
Or Mercs to an
Mercs,
extent, but they're okay.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, they've got Red Skull now.
Yes.
Ish. Not. Yeah. We'll see. All right. Now, also a quality of life thing that's come through. I didn't even think about this, but I guess it kind of makes sense and might save a few seconds every day. And that is the having the ability to scroll through your saved squads directly from the main Blitz screen. So you won't even have to go into the save teams slots.
Dude, even just doing milestones and chill, that's going to save me like a couple hours. Just because there's always like the lag from like hitting the select thing to go through them. So I don't know if they just coded that bad, but it's like it always hangs.
Now, this better not be the change of dead time that I talk about for Blitz. If this is the only change they're making.
We fixed it, guys.
It's like, well, we told you we're going to improve it.
More quality time.
It saves you about 6 minutes a day. Enjoy.
Well, I mean, that's been their thing. Like, oh, we're putting Sif in War Store, so she's farmable now. So you guys can't say anything. We gave you 2 months of preparation for DD3. Can't say anything.
Don't say we didn't warn you.
That's right.
Yeah. Actually, no, that's the wrong voice name, isn't it? Don't say we didn't warn you. Yeah. Sorry, I forgot what we were doing. Yeah, man, look, anything that saves time in Blitz, I'm on board with.
Yep.
I think it's pretty minor, but then, yeah, I guess it depends on how it's implemented. Because you're right, man. Like, if it scrolls through sequentially, so that way if you've stacked them in a way that it's like, you know, a team at 162, then a team at 180, and you can just go from one to the next to the next to the next, yeah, man, that's awesome. Yep. So it looked that way in the video. Let's just hope it translates that way. It was only a picture at that stage, but that's been doing the rounds on every Discord and the old nightmare that is Reddit.
Do we know when that is happening? Because hopefully for the Blob Blitz, because I actually have to blitz again.
No. Well, what's first? Blob, right? He's tomorrow, so it should be up by the time this podcast, right?
Yeah.
Oh, he's the 12th? Who's tomorrow?
Drax.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I forgot about that. See, I missed it because it was invisible.
Yep.
Yep. That's right. I forgot that was in between. I thought Blob was going to be last week with the way it was going. We're certainly running out of time, and I have to admit, it seems like some things might have been missed here, because you hear about like all the things that people are talking about behind the scenes, right? Mm-hmm. So we've got possibly Black Order in the patch after this one. Like, obviously, nothing's been officially announced yet. Could be delayed. Who knows?
Right.
A leak source of mine, which he might be doing us a favor for now on too, by the way, Roy. I've been cultivating a couple of sources since I left Leold Fox Next.
All right.
And Yeah, man, this guy said, let me have a quick look here. He wants to remain nameless at this stage. That basically, you might be getting your wish, my friend.
Oh, that they'll be buffing Thanos and not making a new
The
one.
leak is suggesting that Black Order will be coming, but there will be no Ebony Maw. So Thanos will be the 5th.
Oh, yeah.
And that Thanos is going to be getting an insane rework, very similar to how he is now for most of his kit, except for the fact that they'll be adding Infinity Gauntlet passives, probably for each of the Black Order that is on the board.
Oh.
Yep. Now, a separate source to that, because obviously we've been hearing that off the back of that, afterwards they'll be releasing an Avengers rework, which apparently may have been scrapped.
Yeah.
Now, both of those announcements, folks, they are both rumor mill. All right, this is not a confirmed source, but I mean, there's a few things that I was also told on those fronts that I can't talk about right now. They were kind enough to give us that information at least. So that's going to be an interesting little bit of time, right? But if you look at, we've still got to get out, obviously, Blob's got 2 blitzers.
Right.
Red Skull's probably going to have 2 blitzers. When does that put us through till? That's probably about what, mid to late May or March? No, definitely probably early April.
Yeah. Somewhere around there.
Isn't like late April, May? When's the Black Widow movie?
I don't know. I think somewhere around there. Is it in April?
I had a feeling it was May. Please ignore the typing noise you're about to hear, folks. It's my secretary. No,
But yeah, a lot of people were pissed about Red Skull is confirmed for Blitz also. They're hoping for like a Delta raid or some other thing. But yes, he's going to be Blitz also.
Good times, right?
No, not really. Not at all. And then you got Ironheart Blitz after that, so...
Yeah, I mean, that's if that holds to be true, but I guess at this stage it would be. Yeah, 1st of May 2020 is the UK release for Black Widow.
Yep.
So if that's true, man, like there's so many characters, like we were all expecting Taskmaster to be announced. So, I mean, there's no way either the rumors are true, because that would mean if Black Order is coming April, May, then they're not really doing anything for Black Widow, or it's going to be significantly after Black Widow, which I guess would be on theme because Black Widow was relevant maybe 8 years ago. She's already dead now. Now we're doing her movie. That seems odd, man.
Yeah. Trying to bring her back.
Yeah, exactly. So something feels like janky about the way that they're doing it. Because normally it's like clockwork. You go, there's a movie coming, there's a TV show coming, we need to pivot to it. But I guess, though, if we go back to Fantastic Four, this wouldn't be the first time.
Right.
Because remember how we got Doom?
Yeah, man. I loved his release. It was so awesome.
Oh, my God. That was so funny. For those of you that weren't around at this time, there was a requirement that all Marvel games basically had to have some sort of a Fantastic Four tie-in when the movie came out, that god-awful movie that came out a long time ago. And, basically what Fox Next did is they had to sneak something in because obviously they were way behind. So they literally just put in like a narrator role for him in one of the Greek raids. And everyone was like amped because we're like, oh man, he's coming. He's coming. And then here we are, what, a year later?
Yep.
Going, oh, maybe he'll be at the end of DD3. You never know.
No. So dumb.
But no, not in this case, my man. So, I'm real curious to see what's coming up, man. But I am looking forward to this new section of the show because this gentleman has said he's going to contact me once a week. I told him to decide on a name. What does he want to be called, right? We're just going to call him Mysterious Steve for now because I want him to pick something better than that, so I'm going to give him a very average name. So thank you to that lad. That's exciting to know.
Absolutely. Are we going to name the segment Choose Leaking? Choose Leaking everywhere.
I don't know. I think I need to make it way more like sexual than that. Let's face it.
Choose uncontrollable leaks.
That's it. I'm about to bust a leak all over your ass. Yeah, exactly. We need to cut it like a wrestling promo. All right, now, as Roy said, Red Skull Blitz is on its way. Bad news there. Now, the symbiote Spider-Man is about to leave the milestones. Roy,
yes.
You are going to finish up at 5, is that right?
I'm going to be a little bit short, unfortunately. I'm at 97 of 130. So I'm going to be like 10 short or something because they're not bringing that orb back, unfortunately. That would have got me there. And I did miss one day, so I missed like 3 shards, I think. because I fell asleep and forgot to max out my gold for the day at the 1.8 million.
We should try and run a pool, I think, in the Masters of Launch community where, like, I don't know, we have some sort of, like, really sketchy prize. Who can pick, like, what month you'll actually be able to farm him in the game?
Oh, God.
I don't think it'll be 2020.
Yeah. Probably never. They'll just stick him in the milestone orb. And then put offers for him.
I mean, that's been okay. Like, I mean, we've slowly gotten up Coulson and slowly gotten up Captain Marvel. But you're right. No direct farming is always poop.
Yeah, I mean,
they did that to Rescue of all characters.
Yeah.
Like,
hey, man, they're high on Rescue. Put her in the Valiant orb, so they're loving them some Rescue for some reason.
It's hilarious, man. Like, Rescue alone, I think, is what poo-pooed that entire Valiant orb. Everyone went, no.
I said that I would quit the game immediately if I pulled her. So.
It's bold claim.
Yeah,
bold claim. Now you can do it. Now you can 7 a red star her voluntarily.
Oh, God. Yeah, I think they got quite a few people that were complaining about Rescue in there. It's like, we better change it.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. All right, now probably news that may have broken by the time this podcast comes out. Maybe it hasn't. I mean, maybe they changed their mind. Who knows? But ladies and gentlemen, it seems that the Fix MSF strike in its current format, which is the blanket spending ban, seems to effectively be over. Predominantly because one particular senior alliance just couldn't hold their load any longer, folks. They just needed to buy them some of those new tunes. So that's got to put a bit of pressure on. And we've seen the movement basically decide that, okay, Fox Next has made some announcements with their intentions. And in a gesture of goodwill, it seems that the strike organizers have gone, okay, let's take them at their word. What we're hearing behind the scenes seems to be pretty good. Let's give them time to implement it. I don't know that I agree completely with it, because goodwill and words and intentions are one thing, but we've danced this dance before.
Yes, we have.
Yep. I think that most of the proposed changes so far, with the exception of probably Red Stars, I think benefit whales and krakens and people who've been around since beta significantly more than free to play. So I think the gap is going to widen even further, which I think is bad for the game. And I think they really need to look at the base economies in a lot of different ways to fix that up for people who want to find their way into Strike Force and discover it and love it the way that we did the first time, Roy.
Absolutely. I mean, the number one thing should have been gold, and there's nothing about that, because that helps everyone. I mean, if people that are at the end game still don't have anywhere near enough to bring up tons of characters, what are newer players going to do? It's like they aren't going to be able to catch up at all. So, I mean, I don't know why that wasn't one of the top things. Some might say that we get enough gold, but they are 100% wrong. So,
agreed.
Yeah, we need more gold. Everyone needs more gold.
But if you say it, you get on the Strike Time video. That's the main thing. If you say it enough, you get something back.
Yes.
Look, I agree with Roy. I mean, for me, I've been waiting for Red Skull for a long time, right? Because I actually like him thematically as well. It's like, he's a character that, you know what, I'd be tempted to break the spending ban for Red Skull.
Right.
But because to use him in his maximum capacity, I need to level 5 characters. And the other 4 characters, folks, believe that I've put nothing into those characters at all. The reality is I'm not going to, because I'm going to need well in excess of probably 30 mil just to get them up to, say, T13.
Yep.
Right? Which is insane. And then what? I'm going to use them 3 times a week in War? Forget about it.
Plus all the gear.
And I think... Oh, yeah, plus farming all the gear itself. I mean, there's so much that they need to realize. When you're going to announce a team like this, where you do a full rework, we need to be able to afford to do it. I mean, the Kree one, that was a little bit easier to swallow because a lot of people were gearing those guys up anyway. So a lot of us had those sort of resources invested. But back then, we didn't have the sheer cadence of characters releasing the way that they are now.
Yep. So
you weren't able to sort of manage your resources and pick and choose. And every now and again, you'd sort of catch up on the meta and you'd go, oh man, yeah, I could mess around with some Kree. I could do a dumb thing. That's fine.
Right.
I remember Dorian built an entire podcast out of building dumb side teams with AIM and defenders before they got reworked. All those things. He was able to do that because the economy was in a much better place. Yep. But it just hasn't risen with it. And that's one thing that kind of sucks, that if you take a gamble on a character that you're like, nah, man, I'm confident he's good. I'm confident that Nebula is the future, right? Yes. How far that can set you back off the meta and the future of your ability to compete in this game because you want to try something, you want to have some fun. It's crazy.
Yep.
And the message it's throwing in your face is manage your resources, dickhead. Like, that's not cool.
Right.
Yeah, so that's what I miss, man. I miss that a lot. And I think, I've been trying to think more and more, like from that thing that we got the other day for the comment, which was, you know, trying to find that joy in the game. And they're right, but I'm trying to think of like all the things of why we used to be so amped every single week. And a lot of that excitement, a lot of those things that they used to put in, they've just really squeezed it out. It's all RNG or nothing, man. Or the way they have coded the quote-unquote challenging things is in a way that's so lazy that doesn't require skill. It requires brute force and RNG.
Yep.
So, yeah. I'd love to see some changes there, man. So, look, here's where I'm at with the strike, Roy. I'm happy, or not happy, is the wrong word. I'm willing to sort of go, okay, Fox Next has come out and made their announcements now. They said they've given us not a roadmap per se, but they've given us some indicators about what they're going to do. That's strike time even more so than before. So let's say we say, okay, those of us that were on spending strike, let's say we're happy to wrap it up, and you know, if we want to spend on something, we'll spend on something, okay? But the reality is, for me, I need to see some action. I really do. All right. So if I see a good character or a really, really good deal, I might buy it from here on out. Maybe I will. All right. But I don't think I will at this stage, because I look at the roadmap and I go, there's nothing that really makes me want to spend. And here's my argument. Fox Next needs to really understand and appreciate the opportunity that the community has just given them to keep their business. Because that is what this is. The strike is not, you know, people trying to hurt Fox Next. It is them saying, hey, dudes, we're willing to give you free feedback. We're willing to round up thousands of people's worth of feedback for you to make this game as best as it can possibly be to keep us and to attract new people. Like, these are the things that made us excited when we joined. Do more of that, right?
Right.
Because if they don't, right, there is far too many games coming out this year, far too many Marvel games specifically. I mean, we're looking at 3 now. I mean, in the last week, they announced the new one, Roy, right?
Yep.
And judging by the clips, man, it looks good, right? Just announced at PAX East.
Yep.
So they need to step up their game, because the first one of these is from Kabam. And Kabam knows how to put on a show, man. Like, they know how to spend money and advertise. They've already got, like, built-in really, really popular content creators like Seaton, which means that people are going to find out about that game real fast.
Yep.
And if that game is even half decent, if Fox Next don't have even some of these basic changes the community wants rolled out by the time that game launches, they're going to hurt for a while. And they're going to need to hope and pray that people that go out and try that come back.
Yeah, I don't think they realize just how many people are playing this game because it's Marvel and only because it's Marvel.
Yep.
They love the characters and they love the type of game. If any kind of competition comes out that is Marvel, that is remotely close to this, and that they treat their players better, you know, people will just leave instantly. So
look, I'm not going to be the first one to say that, like, oh, Kabam treats everyone like amazing. You know, they are definitely whale milkers amongst the finest, right? But the games they make, they are class. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, they're relatively minimal bug free. When they do mess up, they get on the compensation wagon. They haven't always been perfect, but they've certainly been getting better over the last couple of years, if you listen to a lot of the guys that have worked in that community, right? And they try and work with the community. Even the event for International Women's Day that they're doing in Contest of Champions right now, like some of the way that the boss nodes have been designed is because of some of the community content creators. They reached out and said, hey, man, we want to make this node in your name as one of the ladies in the content community. What do you think would be a really cool idea for us to do? And they did it, which is awesome.
Yeah.
Like, really, really cool. I like it a lot. So, yeah, man, the competition is going to be fierce. And I really, really worry for Fox Next. And I hope this is just not a case of, well, we got the sale, boys. Scopely doesn't know that they've bought something that's basically a plane falling out of the sky. Yeah. You know, I just don't know which way it's going to go. I hope that they're in this for the long haul. If they're not, then they're going to pivot to their Avatar game. Well, unlucky, because, yeah, I had a bit of a look at it, man. It's got a lot of work to do from its beta.
Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah. It's very much a poor man's Clash of Clans, but bluer.
But blue. Nice.
Yeah. That's it. I just got that theme song from Eiffel 65. Yeah. All right. Did I miss any of the news, mate?
It's Invisible Woman's the next legendary event, which I've been waiting for, and some other people, so that is very nice. Can't wait for that.
Oh, damn. Who do we need for that?
Isn't it Spider-Verse? I don't even remember.
Is it?
I think so.
Oh, man. I'd have to be ready for this by now.
No, it's Sinister Six, my bad. But you can use.
Sinister Six. I still think I'm good. Let me have a quick look now.
Yeah, it was just.
I might actually be excited.
I think.
An account upgrade. This
Oh my
doesn't
God.
happen. Let's have a look here.
Yeah, I think you just needed Shocker.
Yeah, I mean, I did, yeah. Well, the crappy thing is I'm going to have to spend $1 million just getting Shocker and Mysterio's last stars. They're there waiting, but I'm like, I'm not spending $1 million on those two. Forget it. Do I really? Am I going to pay $1 million for Invisible Woman? I don't know.
Well, yeah, I mean, you get it back from her from doing the event, so.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I forgot about that. Yeah. Still. Yeah, what else is on that top tier? Was it T formats or was it Mega Orb? I can't remember now on the final tier.
I think
there's normally something else they throw in as a bonus round.
I don't think there's anything at the top. It's the Mega Orbs are earlier on for people that can't get her at 5. I think it's just her and then the $1 million gold for the last tier.
Oh, I see. That might be right. I mean, I got to be careful about my Fantastic Four team because I've got it set up in a way that Thing has the highest attack, which means when I go up against Shield that they blow him up first, which is fantastic.
Yeah.
So, because then it just protects Human Torch. I'm worried if I start messing around with all this, maxing everyone out, then I'm going to hit troubles.
I don't think it will be with her since she's a protector. I wouldn't think her damage goes up over.
Oh, man, who knows? There's some weird things that happens. For sure. I'm just glad the Thing... Well, you look at Thing. No one should be hitting him when everything's
he's
evil.
Brawler, right?
Yeah, I've got 5 reds on him. I've got 5 reds on Torch. And they're both basically the same level as far as, Thingo goes. Yeah. Actually, no, it's less. Human Torch is at 58k, and Thing is at 53. Yet they always hit him first in a Coulson squad now.
Nice.
Yeah, I do not want to tempt that fate. I mean, yeah, they got 5 reds on both. So, I mean, come on, get in.
Yep.
All right, very good. All right, let's go into the questions of the week, folks, starting off with our Patreon questions. So even if you're in the dollar tier, folks, we always take the questions from Patreon first, and then we take as many free-to-play questions as we can before we wrap up the show. So starting off with JW, he's just wondering if there's any T4 essentials for Blob or Toad. I pulled high reds on both, but I'm not saying what it was for Tuesday, just seeing what the opinions are of the two. What do you think?
I haven't even looked at Toad that much. Are there any must-have for him?
I'll double-check MSFGG right now, but I have a feeling that there was nothing that really was like, if you didn't get it, you were going to be heavily penalized. So let's have a look. His basic just adds 50% damage. It doesn't add like an extra turn of anything. Damage for the acid spray as well. Instead of clearing 2 negative effects from himself, he will clear all negative effects from himself and chain to more targets. I don't think it really matters enough to do that on the ult. He gets 5% more dodge chance and 10% more focus for his passive, so no.
Yeah, so nothing on him.
Yeah, I'd say, look, if anything, the ult, but I think you can pretty comfortably swerve on everything right there, my man. Yeah. Now, Blob can be a bit of a different story. The main reason being, he looks like he's coded, so his basic will actually remove speed bar, which is pretty nuts.
Yeah.
So if he gets assists or if he gets things like that, he could be able to be quite awesome, actually. Mm-hmm. Now, his basic, it's coded at level 6 to do negative 15% turn meter, but that increases by 40% damage and an extra 5% turn meter removed or speed bar removed. Mm-hmm. If you do the T4. I would say 5% turn meter for free on multiple turns is not bad.
Yeah, on an assist or counterattack, which he gets tons of counterattack too. So
exactly. So on counterattacks, you definitely want the basing to be as high as possible. It adds about, on the counterattack, it does add 5% piercing and another 30% damage. So it's not too bad.
Yep.
If we have a look at his special ability, all it's really doing there is adding damage, which, look, if you pulled Roy's, then yeah, of course you would.
Oh, yeah.
And look, and same for his ult. He's one of those characters that if you pull a massive amount of reds on him, by all means, do the damage ones, because they're going to matter. Right. But otherwise, not really.
Yep.
It's like a lot of characters. If you get good reds, go nuts. When it comes to his passive, though, we're just talking extra resistance. Oh, he actually does get another 10% chance to... Yeah, I think you kind of have to do the passive. I'd say his passive is number 1 out of all those.
Yep.
And then his basic number 2. Everything else for those 2 characters is skippable. So, Blob's solid mass passive, heavy-handed basic. I'd say you'd be getting out of jail just fine with those 2, man.
Of course, I'm doing all 4. I'm my big, beautiful Blob.
Oh, why wouldn't you? I think most 7 red star characters you're going to be doing it unless they're garbage minions, for sure.
And that, boys and girls, is why I hoard my orange T4 mats. So if I need to, I can put all 4 on a character immediately.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that's a little bit hard to do at the moment. Oh, T4 match, you said. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Sorry, I thought you meant orange gear. I'm out of it. Cravino, now they're giving gold promotion credits for DD3 instead of the Valiant Orb. Do you suppose you'll eventually use it on several 6 red star characters or 1 to 7?
Yeah, it's going to depend on how much we get and if they do the flattening out the curve. I think even if we just get like 10 gold promo credits, still might be better to take 2 good ones to 6 instead of just 1 to 7.
There's only 15% difference between a 6 and a 7 with the new scaling proposal. Yeah. So if that stays true, I think, 2 6s is definitely better.
Yep. And if you get 50, holy crap. Yeah, I'm taking 10 to 6.
Oh, absolutely. All right, Bloodwalker, our usual PT griefer. He's saying, hey guys, usual question from me. Glad to hear you're back on track, Chew. As I've said a while back, also on the weight loss train after a few months. My girlfriend referred to me as having a dad bod. My question is, what do you find harder, the diet, the cardio, or seriously grinding out a blitz, and why? Oh, Jesus, that's a tough choice. Man, diet has been one of the things that I've always found it the hardest to log into. Cardio is one of those things that, let's say the first 3 to 4 months of like training again, I just hate it, man. Yep. But once I find a rhythm and it's not work, it's just like I just need to keep myself entertained during cardio. Yep. I don't mind it at all. But between blitz or diet,
just grind out your blitz while you do cardio.
Man, at once upon a time I did used to do that, but I do know that the way it loads up your neck muscles, or more specifically, it unloads the top part of your neck muscles, it's terribly bad for your back to look down as you're walking. Really, really bad. Yeah. So yeah, I'd probably say blitz is the worst of all those 3, really, and then diet are very, very close too. I just love food, man. Always have, and I used to do enough sport to counteract it, but no.
All right, here, this is what you need to do. You got to get your setup, so you get your exercise bike or whatever you got, and then get the game on the big screen TV in front of you, and then you need to get like a voice-activated thing, so then you just call out what you want it to do while you work out.
Yeah, because that'll definitely work in 5 minutes. I guess Blitz doesn't have the timer, I suppose, but still, could you imagine? Yeah. Can they just plug it directly into my brain yet? Where's that technology?
VR, Strikeforce in VR.
Oh, just if you can walk around the characters in 3D, man, not gonna lie, that'd be pretty good. All right, Jackie246. If Dark Dimension and Blitz had an override coded into them that makes all game mode specific abilities like War Defense, War Offense, Raid accessible, to Chew, he's asking, would that change my mind on what kind of team compositions I'd use for the remainder of DD3? And to you, Roy, would that make you blitz more for watching characters like Coulson and others at their best? Yeah, man, of course it would. I mean, some of the bonuses that some of those toons get, like especially the ones that get defense up for their entire team as a passive, for DD3 would be amazing.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Because then you could take in like offensive characters that still throw up D up around them. Yeah, if you could limit the amount of protectors you'd have to take in there to get, like, say, 2 or 3 turns guaranteed every day, rather than, like, maybe 1 on this day, wait for your cooldowns, and then you get, 2 turns the next day.
Yep.
Sure. I think it would change dramatically for me. Yep. What about you on the Blitz front, mate?
But yeah, for the DD3 also, Captain Marvel would be even better, so yeah, and then all the military. I would probably Blitz more, but I just do it all in auto anyways, so I wouldn't be watching it. But, I mean, it'd be nice, but I wouldn't start saying, "Oh, I love Blitz now." Nothing could make me say that.
Yeah, pretty much, mate. Even like with the blitzers coming up with characters that I actually want, like because I think Blob looks just fine, and I think that Red Skull looks obviously insane. I don't know that that's enough to get me off the couch because, well, on the couch as it would be. Yeah. So yeah, I don't think so. Yeah, I don't know, man. All right, Big Spartan 34. Do you think there's any validity to the claim that there's algorithms to determine what gear we're looking for and not make it available in stores to drive spending? I don't know if it's officially in this game, but I know that algorithm has 100% been designed because I've seen the patent. Yep, it's in many, many games, man. With the most recent store additions being Graviton to War, Heimdall to Arena, Torch to Arena, Namor to Raid, Thing to Blitz, Sif should have gone to the Blitz store. Mm-hmm. With that being said, do you think the War store is strictly to drive spending for Sif? Well, yes and no. See, the thing that kind of sucks, and was in the store today, I might add, is that you can buy that currency now.
The War currency?
From that store. You can, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. I mean, you have been able to for a while, but today I definitely saw a deal that I was like, all right, we're pushing this a little bit more now, are we? Makes sense, I guess.
Yeah. Now they could restore some goodwill by putting Sinister in the Blitz store. I mean, he's not that good, so I mean, it's no big deal. Just make him farmable. I mean, like people don't really care, want him farmable, not at all.
That's it. Have to wait and see. All right, and Benicus, by law, what do you guys think the strongest team in MSF should be?
Black Order with Thanos with the Infinity Gauntlet.
When they come in, I think you're right. But I mean, by law, with the people that are in the game at the moment, I'd have to say it's probably the Avengers.
Yeah. Well, X-Men are pretty strong, too.
True, but I mean, like in every major comic run, they get murdered off for being too mutanty. And just like trying to kill all the humans. And then they just go, all right, well, half of these guys are bad news. Let's just kill everyone. So they never really get a chance to find out.
And what about Asgardians? They're pretty strong. They're gods.
That's true. I mean, but there's only like 5 of them, whereas the Avengers can just keep on calling in more dudes.
True. Well, the real top team is Spider-Verse because, they counter everything.
True, they can beat everything. That's true. It's true. All right. Matches Malone. On the last podcast, we mentioned that Grenadier probably gets dropped in the Hydra rework team. He's got a 6 Grenadier and a 6 Red Sniper as well. Who'd be the best option to drop on the team if I want to leverage those Red Stars? Do I drop the Rifle Trooper? Ooh, probably, yeah.
It was either him.
He does the offense up. Yeah, I'd say so.
Yeah, it was either him or
Sniper's the one that
the healer guy.
True. And for War, you kind of want the healer, though, I guess, because you want to keep making people eat it every time they go back into that node. So, yeah. I mean, it depends what your Reds are, I guess. Whichever one's the lowest of those two.
Well, I mean, the Red Skull will spawn with the 8 charges every time, won't he?
That's the idea, yeah. But that's why you want to try and have as many times of that happening as possible. So you want some kind of sustained mechanic kicking off. Like, that's why some of the older school Ultron teams were terrible, because if you didn't kill them all completely, they would start to respawn in a way that made it death for the next person that came through as well, before we got the counters. So, yeah, it could go either way, man.
Yep. All right.
All right. Hendo, could I start with my normal 5 with 4 of them being global? Then I still do 3, I'm assuming.
I think we did this last week, and then he put it back up after we deleted it, because I guess he thought we weren't going to answer it. So we answered this one last week. Yeah.
Right, okay. All right, Kate8980, let's talk about some new debuffs. One I thought about while imagining Professor X's kit as a controller would be the ability to apply a debuff that would grant attacking characters 100% to crit. When their opponent has this debuff will also disappear like a block buff would when the character is attacked. It's kind of the opposite of a block, I guess. I was thinking of calling it valuable, but I'm a little bit short on that name. What do you guys think of this new debuff and the new name? Should function as a defense down, but better. Well, I mean, the potential to stack, like, because a lot of games do this. Like, they have, like, an offense up, then they have, like, a crit, either damage or crit chance up, right? So it is something that this game really hasn't done with buffs. So I think it definitely could work. They're saying when their opponent has this debuff, it'll disappear like a block buff would when the character is attacked.
Or like an evade or like a deflect. So once it's used up, then it's gone.
Right, so if you can hit someone that has it before they get it off, you can kind of cancel it out. So it kind of acts as a defensive or offense buff at the same time. Yeah, that's not a bad idea at all.
Yeah,
I think
you
it's
call it
fun
like
in that.
vulnerable since, like you can critically hit them 100%, so you're vulnerable to getting
Just call it
owned.
Cerebroed.
We're about to get owned.
That's it. Wheels Up. That's the name of the talent.
you go.
Wheels Up. Yeah. All right, Farm Geek. If they do flatten out the bonuses from Red Stars, would it be prudent to use promotion credits to get 1, 2, 3 Red Stars on characters that are valuable, or should it still just save for 4s and 5s? What do you think?
Well, I think it's so cheap getting the first few that wouldn't be the worst thing. Yeah, I mean, if you really want to get those characters, you're going to use them a lot, then yeah, just get the 1, 2, or 3 on them, and then just save for the 4 or 5 on the other ones. Because it's like, what is it? It's 1 to get 1 red star, and then 4 for 2, and then like 10 for 3. And you're getting 1 a day from the donation. So, yeah, I'd do that if you're not pulling them.
Yeah, it depends what the currency does, I guess. My gut tells me to save for the 4 and 5, because there still is a big spike up. And look, the reality is when you play for long enough, you're going to end up with a lot of 4s. It's just the way it works.
Yeah.
So, I mean, over time, you're going to get there. It'll save you more currency if you don't do that. But it's not exactly going to kick you in the wallet if you do, because it's not that expensive, as Roy just said.
Yeah.
All right, Juzumaku. DD3 question. Hoping to go Min, Star-Lord, Hela, Sif, and Thor/Loki. Are you thinking now that Loki is much better, or is Thor still much better with more red stars? He's got Thor at 6, but Loki at 3.
They're both really good. I would just do both of those and not Sif. I know they're both mystics, so it's going to be tough. But
Well, he's got Hela Sif, so I'd probably say Thor in that particular lineup.
yeah,
Well, I'm
he'll
struggling
end
for
up
that
doing
team.
more if you got the 2 other Asgardians. So yeah, Thor would be the better choice. But Loki's fantastic in there, especially for nodes
Yeah.
3 and 4.
I guess the only thing he's got working for him is he's kind of got like an auto damage built in, Roy.
Yeah.
That, like, let's say you get boned today, just from them hitting so many Asgardians.
Yep.
Even if you have really bad RNG, like at least once every other day, Thor at 6 red stars is going to come in, punch people for free, even if he doesn't get a turn. So, yeah, the only other thing you do miss out on, I suppose, though, is the ability to spread the defense down from Loki using Hela. That's definitely a loss. However, you do have Star-Lord, so sometimes like being able to mitigate their damage by blinding every dude on the opposite team is sometimes surviving is better than putting out the offense. So
That's true.
I'd probably say Thor for me.
Yeah, I mean, and it can be tough to get enough tech. So if you don't have enough to get Star-Lord, you might just go Thor. Depending if you get more Mystic, then just go Thor and Loki. But it'll depend on what
Sure.
you get, because tech can be hard to get. I cannot get the
And they double up on
the one piece to save my
Uru
life
as well, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, fair call. All right. Apostolic Pan says, would you consider Merc Riot Guard at 6 red stars for DD3 City?
I was actually thinking about taking him in. Just there's no heal, but I mean heals don't really matter as much because everything hits so hard. So, I mean, I guess if you have the extra stuff to take him in, he wouldn't be the first choice. But I mean, there's the one guy that's fighting to be the second one to finish, and he's getting it done with just 3 characters at this point. So. I wouldn't put anything on anybody now. Just when you get there, see where you're at, and he might be an option since he does have the fast defense up.
Yeah, and again, it depends on like what you want to do as well. Like, are you gearing these characters up purely because you want to get them through DD3 as quickly as possible? Or do you want to have characters that you're actually going to use again after DD3 is done?
Right.
So if you're playing the long game, characters like Merc Riot Guard might not be that hot. Admittedly, a Merc Riot Guard with 6 reds could be really irritating in Alliance War, in like a B-team hybrid that you could, have some fun with. But usability past that at this stage, not really, my man. So I would say, have a think about it and have a look at where you're at as well. Because, I mean, city nodes are way at the back.
Yes, it's going to be a while before you get there.
Exactly. All right, B-Rock. Don't want to be that guy. We got 7 reds on Hulk. Took him to Gear 12, but do you think it's worth going investing in T4s? So many good characters to max out for DD3 and ones used for Ultima 7. With Hulk, actually, yes, because he scales really well. He's one of those characters, if I had at 6, I'd max him on every... Oh, would I max him on everything? Let me self-debate that claim.
Almost
Let me open
everything.
him up here. Yeah, he does have really good scaling on his basic, because when he goes to a lower health, when he goes below 50, which let's face it, that's gonna happen quickly in DD3. Yes. His basic damaging will increase by 50% on the T4, and then also scale by 1.5. Like, it's only another 10% damage, sure, but it's still pretty good with the extra 0.5 instead of 0.4. Being able to clear all the negative effects from himself, look, I don't think you really need that for the special, to be honest. I mean, getting rid of all of them is great, but I mean, he's going to clear 3 anyway, so it's not that much better.
Right.
The big one from memory, I think it was his ult and his passive. Yeah, an extra 70% damage on an AoE.
Yeah.
Bruh. Yeah, and then again, if he's below 50% health, he'll also do scaling damage of 1.5 times more as well. So that is good. But the real thing really is this. I mean, when he drops below 50% health, he's going to get his turn straight away. And I think in that particular game mode, that's what you want, man. The ability to just go, whoop, turn around, boom.
Yeah, I definitely would have taken mine in if I had 7 or even 6, like you said. Because, I mean, you're going to get the guaranteed turn with him. Because they aren't going to okay, maybe the brawlers might one-shot him, but the rest of them, they won't one-shot him. So he'll get at least a turn each day, even with how slow he is.
Yeah, I mean, if he gets like an early D-up or something, that he's pretty much guaranteed to get an attack off, and possibly with low health as well. Yep. So, I mean, that attack might be meaningful. So, yeah, there's things you could definitely do there, man. Like, I think I'd probably max him across the board if I had 7 reds on him.
He'd be a terror and war defense, too, because he's going to jump on you.
Everyone misjudges him as well, because whenever he's in the same team as Cap, like, Cap just has the ability to slow that down, that you usually have like 3 threats versus a Marvengers, for example.
Right.
And Hulk's never at the top of the list. And a 7 red, if you let him go,
he's going to smash it.
Man.
I wish they should have put him in the Valiant Orb, not Rescue. Come on now.
Well, I guess the more challenging thing is like getting him to 7 red stars. Like, I mean, even when some of the big Krakens are nowhere near it. Like, I mean, getting 7 reds is one thing, but are you on 7 reds?
Right.
That's the real question here.
Yeah, that is true. It takes a long time to get him there.
Yeah, because I know we're both max, right?
Yep.
Yeah, mine is. Yeah. So, yeah, man, I think there's definitely a case to be made for Hulk, for sure.
Yep. All
right, Ox 5, last question of the day. I black bolted 2 red stars, enough currency to promote to 4 red stars. Will he show up in the store at 2 red stars? Would have to promote him to 3 somehow before he'll appear for the 4. You have to wait until you see the 3, and then you have to wait again until you see the 4. It's a really dumb system. Again, I'm going to reinforce this point again. That store does not need to freaking be there for exactly this reason. You should be able to take that currency, my man, and spend it straight away.
Yeah.
Why? Yeah.
Because Fox next. Yeah, you have to promote him to 3, and then promote him to 4. So it's going to cost you 10 extra.
Yep. So yeah, good times. Good times, man. All right, that concludes all our questions for this week and the end of the episode. So look, folks, if you have enjoyed this episode, make sure you go and leave us a review over on Apple Podcasts. If you do think we're worth it, you leave us a 5-star review with commentary. We'll read it out at the top of the show next week. And if you think that we're worth a little bit of your hard-earned pocket money, make sure you head on over to Patreon, www.patreon.com/SFMOL. Remember that there is 2 websites to check out for me now on YouTube. Head to Alternate Reality for our video content. We're going to be releasing our very first unboxing video this week, Roy, which I'm really looking forward to.
All right. Is it a surprise what you're unboxing?
It's pretty awesome. Right. I like it. It's something really nerdy that I've wanted for a long time, and now it's in my house, so it's pretty good.
All right.
Yeah, so that's going to be awesome. And then obviously A&R Podcasts, is which we're going to put all the alternate reality podcasts now, and Masters of Launch, even though it's not technically an A&R program, it is going to feature on there as well. So if you are a YouTube listener instead, make sure you head on over there. And for us, make sure you hit like every time you're over there. Make sure you like that, hit the notifications bell, and try and listen to it to the end, because to get monetized, guys, we need 4,000 hours of people listening to our content before we can make a single dollar from YouTube. And please subscribe. If you are a listener to this show, even if you have no intention of listening to podcasts on the YouTube, do me a favor, go on and subscribe, because we need 1,000 of you to do that as well.
Yep.
Awesome. Twitch.tv/Chewburger84. I'm going to try and get back on Twitter this week. Thinking about actually making an active push on the socials as well. You can find me everywhere at Chewburger84. Roy, take us on out of here.
Yes, I'm Big Roy Awesome on Twitch and YouTube. This next few weeks, I'm only going to be able to stream on Monday and Saturday. It'll be starting at 4:30 p.m. Eastern. And then also on YouTube, I'm going to get caught up on my DD3 run. I'm only up to day 9 on there, and I'm actually like on day 20-something game. I'm going to be combining some of the days together since I was on Node 3 for so long, so it's not going to be very long each attempt. So I'm going to try to get caught up on that. And that is going to do it. Thanks for listening. Until next time, stay tuned and stay awesome.